All right.
Okay, so the outside corners group here, D, lot of intriguing talent. Corey Heatherman said a couple weeks ago, maybe like a week 9, 10 days ago, that he feels comfortable with 5 guys playing right now, that it's going to be about a 5-man rotation. So I guess we can kind of get into what we think that rotation is going to look like.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. This is the position that is the story of camp for me, story of spring, really. So story of the offseason, which is that you have gone from a secondary, particularly a cornerback group, that you had Markeith Williams playing snaps at corner in the bowl game because you were so understaffed there. You were praying for Deani Hill to get healthy this time last year. Remember that? This time we were like, oh man, what people were asking about Deani Hill every day. He wouldn't have been, I was talking to someone about this. I mean, he wouldn't have been in the top 7 of these guys. This group has gotten so much better overnight. It's insane. Starting at the top, at least what I think is the top. And the truth is, I'm going to list you 4 names. There's more than that, but there's 4 names that really kind of stand out, I think. Of those 4, I've heard different people say that each one of those guys is the best guy we have. So that shows you how tight this competition is. Doesn't even get into Charles Brantley, who's a really, really good, not as big as these guys, but a really, really good playmaker. The most proven of all these guys, probably. So that's how deep this group is. But you go outside, you have to start, in my opinion, with OJ Frederique. I did that video. Oh, there's Nike, my guy Night King says, I was like, who is 28 in the scrimmage making plays? Someone's like, that's Jason Taylor's son. Definitely a baller for sure. I'm telling you, man, that's a very common refrain. Who's 28? So yeah, he'll do well in the nickel. But talking about the outside corners, I think OJ Frederique's one of the best players on the team. I think he's one of the best players in the ACC. I think he's one of the best players in the country. He has to do it. He's coming off that bad Syracuse game. I thought he had obviously a great freshman year, one of the best in the country as a freshman. But, man, you see him now. He is bigger. He is faster. He's more assertive in terms of breaking on the ball. I think he just has that confidence that you need at corner where he knows he's good. He was confident as a freshman, but now he's confident as a player because he was freshman All-America. So he really is aggressive breaking on the ball, has ball skills, former wide receiver. You saw that last year. Tackled well all year. I just think this guy, we talk about Bain, we talk about Malinoa, Carson Beck, right? Guys that could be that first round kind of guy, that household name player. Frederique to me is one of those guys where by 2027 mock drafts, they have this draft and right away the next mock draft comes out, Todd McShay or whoever. I could see those 2027 mock drafts right after this draft having OJ Frederique in the top 10 if he has a season that I think he can have. Just a complete corner. Go ahead.
No, and he was, he was dealing with a shoulder thing, I think, during spring that he's over now. That I think it's he has more confidence now, knowing that he's healthy there. I think that's been part of his progression physically as well. Put some good. He was already in a good spot last year, but I think continuing to get stronger is always a part of it. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a top 2 or 3 player on the team.
Yep. And really, when he's played, because he worked his way back, but he's fully healthy. He's ready to rock. The playmaking is outstanding. Had a pick 6 the other day. I mean, this guy's completely ready to rock. I think in his mind, he looks at Leonard Moore from Notre Dame as the other best corner in the country. That's the other freshman All-America last year for Notre Dame was Leonard Moore. And I think those 2 to me are the 2 best corners in America that I've seen when I do my off-season scouting. Corners hard because you don't have coaches tape, so you're not. It's hard. You're more looking at just how they move and stuff, and just traits. It's hard to really break them down like you would other positions because without the coaches tape, it's just particularly hard. At least for me at that position. But the 2 best corners I saw, watching all the tape on the top guys trying to get ready for the season, OJ Frederique and Leonard Moore. So we'll see both those guys here, not facing off. Obviously, they're both corners, but they'll both be on the field August 31st, and we'll find out who the best freshman or the best young corner in America is. There's Birdstone. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe.
So Xavier Lucas or Deari Brown. Let's go to Deari Brown. He's been here longer, and he's the older player, but obviously came onto the scene freshman year. We were very excited about him. Had some really good moments, was a physical player, was playing at times like a big physical nickel role for Miami, was blitzing, was using the run game, had a good game against Florida State his freshman year, and then only played 2 games last season with injury. There was, transfer portal rumors in the offseason that had people freaking out, but he's solidified himself as, I would say, one of Miami's 2 to 3 best corners here.
Teams try to steal Deari Brown. They try to say, hey, well, these guys run a lot of corners, so that means he's susceptible to get tampered with, basically. And Miami made a commitment to him, and they're happy they did. There's people, I'm telling you, in the building that say this guy's been our best corner. People that know and people that have been around. So that catches my eye. Obviously, the physical with him, we talked about it before. I compared it to like David Njoku, where it's like you could draw it up better in pads. This guy looks like he's ready to knock someone's head off. He's also probably the hardest hitter in the secondary, even though he's a corner. He can run, he can cover. Comes from a family of DBs from American Heritage, a program that churns out DBs every single year. Xavier Lucas being another one who played his senior year at American Heritage. So this is a guy, man. We talked so much about the freshmen with Frederique and the transfers with O'Connor, with Lucas, Brantley. Deari Brown, this moment he came back halfway through spring, knock on wood, continues to stay healthy. He's going to be an impact player. And if you're playing Notre Dame with Malachi Fields and some of their bigger guys, nobody in this country, nobody, I don't care if it's Nick Harbor, name any big receiver in the country, nobody is bullying Deari Brown. I promise you that.
Yep.
Any thoughts there, Pete? I know, or is your brain on Bradford?
I do have to get off here in a minute. I told you before.
Yeah, we're good.
But strong statement, D.
Give it to us. There you go. You were just
warming
up for a strong statement.
I said that was a strong statement. I'm not.
Oh, you're not going to. I didn't say it. I'm saying
that's superlative right there, man. I don't know.
Oh, which one? I mean, physically. I'm not saying he's gonna lock everybody down. He's never gonna give them a catch. I'm not saying
that's kind of what you bullying. That's kind of part of it. It's not just the physical nature. I mean, if you're going to bully someone,
he's as strong as any receiver in the country, physical wise. He is a strong. Corners are not built that way.
I'd agree with that. I gotta do some research though, man. There has to be someone out there.
Hey, listen, Malachi Fields for Notre Dame is one of the more physical, big guys in the country. So, you got to respect what he does. But we'll find out, man. We'll find out on August 31st. Deari's going to be out there doing his thing. So I know you got to go.
He's not. No, well, look, he's not the only big physical type corner out there. You got Xavier Lucas as well, who I think just looks wise. If scouts are going to be going into Deari, looks a certain way too. Like we were just talking about, he's a big boy who's bringing the physical presence out there. But Xavier Lucas's movement skills at his size is pretty scary.
Like 26 says, Pete looking nervous about a hot take after the Wednesday show is wild. Yeah, that Wednesday show, man. I never got more text. The people were going crazy, man, over your appearance on there and the way you the way you brought the energy. Xavier Lucas. I say it all the time. There's a reason Wisconsin sued us. The guy's an incredible talent. 10.49 speed, 6'1", 6'2", maybe, over 200 pounds, knows what he's doing. Another guy who's not really going to get physically overwhelmed in any matchup. He is over 200 pounds. And if you just see Xavier Lucas, like, he's just big. He's not a guy that's like, he's been just living in the weight room and bulking up. He's just naturally a big, heavy guy. That's why they always try to move him to safety. But because he's so fast, I think it's like Tyreek Stevenson, Stokes, those both from Georgia. Tyreek Stevenson obviously transferred here, where everybody was trying to move those guys to safety. They were so big, but they were so fast and athletic that they're still playing in the NFL. I think Lucas is in that category. And I think that speed, right now you see it, but I think in games, you're really going to see it because you just cannot get vertical on this guy. And if he makes he's not going to be the most fluid guy in the world. Most 200-pounders are not. Those two guys I mentioned that are in the NFL, Stevenson and Stokes, they're not the most fluid guys. But when you're on a 4.3, you could not be perfectly smooth and make up for it because of your speed and your length. So he just has such unique physical traits. I like what he has going on between the ears. We'll see it in the game. Some of these guys are going to rise on game day, and some of these guys are going to drop. So that's a huge part of it. We're watching them in camp. We're seeing their physical tools under the lights. When a bad play happens, you got to be resilient. We'll really find out who is who and what's what. But I see no reason. Lucas has shown toughness as he's been here. He was good last year for Wisconsin as a freshman. I don't say if it comes together, because that would suggest that he's not doing it. If he can do what he's doing in practice and when he did as a freshman, throughout his career, the next 2 years, another first round pick, because guys just don't have the size and straight line speed this guy possesses. It's just rare.
He reminds me of Xavier Rhodes, another Xavier. Xavier, I just looked it up now. Combine wise, Xavier Rhodes came in at 6'1.5". I mean, these are very verified things. So obviously Xavier Lucas is listed as 6'2", but probably will end up coming in at 6'1.5" at the combine. And Rhodes was 210 pounds with 33 and 3/4 arms and ran a 4.43, which again, Xavier Lucas is going to run in that range, maybe faster when the time comes. So, looking back on it, Xavier Rhodes at 210, that's a big boy. But I think that's what you're looking at here.
No, it's a great comp. I didn't realize Xavier Rhodes was that big. Miami Norland, we had so many misses that were just sneaky misses that just added up over time. I mean, imagine a first-round corner just leaving just like that. From
and by the way, 40.5-inch vertical, 11 broad.
He was, you know what? I'm not saying in terms of the size, because I don't know if Frederique will get up to 210, although Frederique's gotten a lot bigger. But in terms of his recruitment, similar to Frederique, because he was a wide receiver that kind of was also a corner and then became more of a corner and then obviously blew up, was a 3-star player, Xavier Rhodes out of Miami Norland, even though he went to FSU when FSU was recruiting well. I think he was on their championship team. So recruitment-wise, I do see some similarities between a Rhodes and an OJ Frederique. So I like that comp in general. Put it this way. When FSU was winning a ton, they had guys like Xavier Rhodes. We did not have guys like that last year. Hopefully this year.
That FSU defense was loaded when you look back on it. I know that it's been going viral. Jimbo saying that team was the most dominant team ever, which I guess by the numbers he's making some arguments. Not that I'm agreeing with it, but you look at the names on that defense, there were some freaks.
No, that was a good team. I mean, obviously Miami 2001, just kind of different level Hall of Famers everywhere, as opposed to, Pro Bowlers and first rounders. These were Hall of Famers.
I'll take Pro Bowlers and first rounders right now.
Oh, no,
can we get back to that?
I think, oh my gosh, no, that team was good. That team and the Florida team that had Tim Tebow and the Hernandez and the Pouncey twins, those were really, to me, probably the two. Maybe I'm biased because of Florida, but everybody talks about LSU 2019. I think that Florida State team beats the brakes off. Not beats the brakes, because no one's going to totally shut down Burrow and those two best receivers in the league. So, but I think that LSU team, that 2019, is tremendously overrated. And I think that in terms of the best teams, obviously they're great for what they were. I think teams like Florida State, Florida 2008, Florida State 2013 are underrated in those battles because they're just way more complete than what LSU. LSU was a one-trick pony. It was a great trick. But when you play other elite all-time teams that have great players everywhere, I think it gets a little different. So that's one of my spiels is those two Florida teams. Obviously, Miami, we know is the best team of all time. I think that those 2013 Noles, which Jimbo's been talking about, and the 2008 Gators, those teams really did not have a weakness. Very complete, very strong teams. And to me, in my opinion, better than 2019 LSU. I think 2020 Alabama might have been better than 2019 LSU. 2019 LSU gets a little too much hype because of how great the top 3 players are. Top 4 if you include Stingley, who's really good. So top 4 players, great. Stingley was a freshman. Beyond that, not as great. Not as great. A lot of average players relative to some of these other teams.
I have to hop off here. I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
I gotta go.
See you later. Good job.
See you guys later.
I'll keep rolling. So stay on. So all right. So let's finish the secondary talk here. At corner, we talked about Brown, Lucas, Frederique. Ethan O'Connor's right in that mix. This is a guy who had 4 interceptions last year, was a tremendous ball hawk as a freshman for Washington State. Easily could have been a freshman All-America. Was a starter, key guy for them. Played some big games. Played against Washington. Played against some other top teams. And just, man, you see him move. He's such an athlete. Georgia recruited him to be a starting corner. Miami won that battle over T-Rob, their old corner coach, who wanted O'Connor badly for his secondary. And I understand why, because this guy can take the ball away. He can move. He's fluid. We've seen that all in camp. And he's not that small. I mean, he's not small at all. He's actually, I would say, above average size. He's not as big. I would say Frederique, Deari, Lucas, legit plus size, meaning that's a strong advantage for them, how big they are. O'Connor, I wouldn't say is like that, but O'Connor's not small, man. He can move. and he is very, very quick, very talented. Question from Pac Mahomes: what happened to Jadis Richard, the transfer from Vanderbilt? Big corner / safety. He's rehabbing that injury. He had an interception against Duke and tore his ACL, so he's been coming back. But he's he's been working, and he's making a lot of progress. I saw him moving around. He looked pretty good. So I like what I see from Jadis Richard. Also Ryan Mack, another one working his way back, who I think is going to be a really good player. And those guys are getting very close. Ryan Mack probably even closer. Mo was saying, asking, appreciate your support as always. Who are our top 3 cornerbacks to start? It's going to come from those 4, right? So it's the 3 guys I talked about earlier, and then Ethan O'Connor. He's in the mix, and he's one of those guys that you can put him in a game, then he gets a pick 6 or a big interception, and you're saying, wow, we need to get this guy on the field more, because he is a ball hawk. The 4 interceptions you saw last year, he's doing the same things in camp. He's just one of those guys that has a knack for the football. He's aggressive. He trusts his instincts, and he can run. So Ethan O'Connor would have been by far our best corner last year, along with Frederique. And then even beyond those 4, who I think are a clear top 4 NFL-type guys, Charles Brantley doesn't have the physical traits of those guys, but as someone mentioned in the chat, I think it was Kyle, he would have been our best receiver, our corner last year by a mile. This is a guy who played for Michigan State, produced for Michigan State, has made interceptions, taken him to the house. I think it was Dylan Gabriel he took to the house. He's intercepted C.J. Stroud. He's played in real games against real teams. He's a good tackler for his size. He's very undersized, but very aggressive. Just a straight, just a baller, man. Just someone with instincts and confidence that comes from inside and also comes from playing so many snaps in the Big Ten level. Dealt with injuries up there, the kind of nagging injuries. Obviously, the size is the thing. But Brantley's going to help us win games. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a game where we come back and say, man, that was the Brantley game. He had 2 picks or he took one to the house. He's just a playmaker, and he's going to find his way on the field, obviously against Notre Dame. And after that, he's going to find his way on the field. He's going to find his way to make plays. Kyle mentioned it. He was all Big Ten honorable mention last year. Yeah, this guy's a real player. So our corner group is beyond anything I could have ever imagined last year. But we got to see it on the field. I don't want to crown it too much before they've done anything. By the way, almost 1,200 on live. Please like and subscribe to the show. A couple other guys I got to get to. Jabari Antoine, who is someone a lot of people not say left for dead, but they forgot about because of his injury as a high school. I think he tore his ACL his senior year. So you didn't see him. He was here in spring early, but he wasn't practicing. He just wasn't generating a lot of hype, even though he was a 4-star that we flipped from LSU over in Louisiana. He's been making plays and moving up. Really, really nice young man. Interviewed him. He looks like he's like 12 years old in the face, and he's still pretty big. So that tells you, he's going to be a big corner or safety. But I think corner right now, he's doing so good, it's hard to move him off it right now. Man, the scrimmage last week, he was a star. We talked about it with Seth Cooker, who was on the show yesterday, was at the scrimmage, Golden Cane, all that. I think we talked about Jose Perez too. But Jabari Antoine, he is somebody who, everybody was at that scrimmage is asking who's number 16, because he made a 4th down stop, flying around, making a tackle. He was breaking up passes. He was just so active and aggressive, and he looked good physically with his height and the way he was moving around. I think the knee brace is off now. So Jabari Antoine's got the arrow pointing up. That's a hit, in my opinion. We'll find out for sure, but I think that's trending to be a hit in that class of 2025, which has been really, really good so far. Bryce Fitzgerald, we talked about earlier with the safeties, is another. But at Jabari Antoine, keep an eye on him when it comes to the cornerback position. By the way, if you're watching this as a standalone video and you're not hearing about the nickels, we're cutting this up as a separate video with the nickels and safeties. So that's why we're separating it there. But as far as outside corners, there's some names I should probably mention. Kind of going down the list. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody at that spot. Let's see the depth chart. I do not want to screw this up and leave someone out. I know it's early. By the way, appreciate you guys. Almost 1,200 on. Yeah, like and subscribe as we do this every Saturday. Breakfast with the Canes, one of my favorite shows. Get my morning coffee in, get ready for the season. So at corner, like I said, that top 4, top 5, they're gonna play a lot. They're gonna get a lot of action. I think that's it. We'll get Jadis Richard back, but yeah, that's the group, man. I think they're going to be very, very good players. I think there's going to be a strength of the team at the corner position. So I'm fired up. This is going to be the biggest difference, I think, on the team. Jet saying best cornerback group since 2005. Very possibly. We had a pretty good one with Mike Jackson and Corn Elder, I want to say. Mike Jackson and D. Delaney. Those are all NFL guys. But I don't think DJ Ivy and Stevenson are NFL guys. But and it didn't play as well. Certainly Ivy did not play as well here. But I would say top to bottom, we talk about like when you get to the 4th, 5th, 6th guys, I think you have to go with this group. On paper, they got to do it, right? They got to do it. So we'll see.